This is my 1993 Citroen BX that I have for sale. I've dodged the showers to try and get a video of it. I'm going to try and show you the car in the best way that I can, noting any faults or anything that you'd like to know. As you can see, the car's done just over 80,000 miles, which is nothing for one of these really. They're capable of just huge mileages if you look after them. With that in mind, I've had the cam belt changed a couple of 100 miles ago. It had a new clutch about 10,000 miles ago. It's had a new front part to the exhaust. It had the spheres replaced probably about 2 years ago. And there's one or two other bits and pieces, like a few hydraulic pipes I've had changed here and there. So really, it's fit to go a lot more miles than it's got there. Okay, let's start the car up so you can hear it starts up alright. Very difficult to do with one hand. You can hear the suspension pump taking up to normal. The controls for the height suspension down here, it goes up as it should. Don't really can see that, it's going up. That's going up to maximum height, so if I get out of the car and show you how it's going up, then you can see better. Okay, there we are. It's gone up to its full height, which does always look a bit strange, but I found that to be very useful in wet weather. A little advantage that above other cars. I'm dropping it down. That's down to its normal height. There we go. So the suspension works up and down as it should. There's no problems there. I've had a couple of pipes changed on the suspension over the couple of years I've had it. Enjoyed having the car a lot. It does about 50 miles to the gallon thereabouts. Probably can get more if you're a bit more careful. Having the non-turbo engine probably sounds bad, but in reality it's a good little car. It doesn't really need one, to be honest. It's good enough on the motorway. It's just an add-on that well, probably isn't very necessary. This is inside the engine bay. As you can see, there's no fluid leaks or anything spurting out anywhere. It's had new spheres on the front. I say new, probably about 18 months or more ago, but they're still working. Just give you another shot of the engine. The vehicle has fitted a thermostatic radiator control switch, which was fitted because I think that the ignition switch wasn't working properly, because I've noticed on fuse 1, which is what this is linked to, the fuse was removed. It also controls the reversing lights, which don't work, but I think if you fitted a new ignition switch you could probably get around that one without any trouble. Anyway, it's never caused any problems before, and this works fine. It's never overheated or done anything untoward. The car is nearly 20 years old. It'll be 20 years old on the 1st of January, so probably by the time you see this, it'll be 20 years old. It's not perfect. It does have its battle scars. I'll show you around the car. There's a few trim strips and things, a bit of tape, I'm not quite sure what that is. There's no major rust. It's pretty clean on that score. There's a small, where are we? There's a small nick out of the wheel arch, but I think that's plastic, so that's not really going to matter too much. There's a few scuffs on the bumpers. Nothing to be sort of too worried about. The one thing that's major body problem, if I can say that, is from my own fault, and I'll show it to you. Is when it slipped off the jack during the wet weather, because the ground was so soggy, it just collapsed off the jack. I could have repaired this, but it just might have made it look like it was I was hiding something. It's solid. It just needs probably a bit of filling out, or a bit of fiberglass. It's not structural. I'll try and get a bit more in there for you. I want to coat of paint to get the rust, but I wanted to show you that I wasn't hiding anything. Inside, the car's pretty good. The one fault is the driver's seat's probably a bit worn now, but inside you can see it's quite nice. The back seats and inside, no real problem inside. The radio I've got in here is just something I put in. I'm going to replace it with the original blow one, which is a far better radio. But yeah, that's the inside. The car would be ideally suited really for something like a restoration, because it wouldn't take too much to get it back into a pretty good condition. I suppose really that's what I'd hope for, because I've enjoyed having the car, but equally it would just make a great runabout.